Let's see. Oh my gosh. Going live, and we're live. What's up, everyone? Aaron Nagler here with Cheesehead TV with your extra cheese on Thursday early evening. And the Packers Hall of Fame has announced the presenters for Al Harris and Charles Woodson, who will be going into the Packers Hall of Fame on April 18th. Jack Bekta, who is Harris's longtime agent, and Flea, Brian Engel, the head athletic trainer for the Packers, inducting or presenting Woodson for the Packers Hall of Fame. Obviously, a perfect duo. Two legendary Packers secondary members. Can't think of anything better than those two going into the Packers Hall of Fame together. Absolutely outstanding. What's up, everybody in the comments section? Oscar, Reese, Josh, Joseph, Tony. What's up, guys? What's up, early arrivals? Good to see everybody. Hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and it's 6:23 here. Salut, everyone. Matt, how was your day? It sucked, Matt. Had a bad day. But this is always the highlight. Always connecting with you fine folks, talking some Packers, getting my mind off of it. It's always welcome. Hey, Aaron, what's up, bud? Go Pack, go. Oh, Dustin with the question of the day right out of the gate. What's worse, the Bears or the Horn? You know, you got to go with the Horn. You know, the Bears still suck. But without the Bears, namely without Papa Bear, Packers wouldn't exist. You know, as much as Packers fans may not want to think about that, it's the truth. So there's still a begrudging respect for the Bears, even though they still suck. But the Vikings and the Horn, come on, that's hell on earth. There's no question about it. So between those two, got to go with the Horn. Finally made a live chat. Really enjoy your work. Keep it up. Thank you, Robert. Thanks for checking it out. McCarthy not presenting Woodson. What? Famously, they did not get along very well when Chuck first arrived in Green Bay. And I shouldn't call him Chuck. He doesn't like that. But, yeah, lots of stories written and told about Charles' first arrival in Green Bay and how he and McCarthy were at odds early on. But they certainly found a common ground and had a meeting of the minds and won a Super Bowl together. And the rest is history, as they say. But Horn sucks. You got that right. Rumor is the Bears may trade Mac to the Redskins for number 2. Steven, I think you can safely ignore most of those Mac trade rumors. I mean, you can't completely dismiss it because the Bears are crazy and Ryan Pace, who knows if he knows what he's doing. But if they trade Mac, they would pretty much set off a bomb in their salary cap. So I think you can pretty much ignore that stuff. But like I said, you never know. Joseph, thank you for the super chat. Matt Hasselbeck didn't want to present for Al Harris. Oh, that's fantastic. Well done, Joseph. And thank you again for the super chat. Ooh, Alex with the crystal ball question. How many cornerbacks are on the roster next year? How many new cornerbacks are on the roster next year? 2. Do you think EQ can bring some much needed fire to the offense? I don't know about that, Nicholas. I think he will present another option. I'm interested to see how he looks coming back from an injury. But as I've stated here a few times, he's certainly not a guy I would be counting on if I'm Brian Gutekunst. You certainly welcome him back and hope that he continues to develop. As far as fire, I mean, are you talking energy? I mean, playmaking ability? He certainly showed that in very limited spurts his rookie year, but I don't think you plan around his return in any way, shape, or form. That said, I am excited to see what he can do. And I really did like the very kind of few glimpses we got that rookie season. Just hope he can build on that and that the high ankle sprain that he suffered isn't something that lingers and hampers him for the rest of his career. Can you believe Butler was snubbed again? I can. As much as I love Leroy and I can't wait for him to get in, and I think he will get in, I'm not surprised. We've talked about it here a number of times, but it is a very political game getting into the Hall of Fame, which is ridiculous, but it is the case. And, he's gotten a little further now these last few years. Hopefully he is now knocking on the door for an eventual admission in one of these years. Mike Pennell, underrated performance in the Super Bowl. Absolutely. I mean, it helps. He has a monster like Chris Jones working next to him, but yeah, I thought he played a good game and he played well for the Chiefs down the stretch this year. Somebody who, as we've talked about before, he worked out for the Packers 10 days prior to signing with the Chiefs this season. So, I mean, I kind of understand why Gutekunst maybe was gun shy to sign a guy who had been suspended twice last time he was in Green Bay. But he certainly helped the Chiefs. There's no doubt about it. Woodson first ballot? Oh yeah. No question. Yeah, Woodson's going in right away next year. You can update, I believe you mean upgrade, middle linebacker or wide receiver, but not both. Which do you choose? Inside linebacker, no question. I understood at the time parting with Woodson as he was due like $11 million, but I was surprised Packers didn't offer him a new deal. You? I wasn't surprised. I was actually in favor of the move. I thought his legs were gone and it was about time to move on. It was always smarter to move on 1 year early than 1 year too late. Obviously, he went to Oakland and did some nice things there, and certainly the Packers missed him. You know, as usual, the idea of moving on from a guy is great, but you got to have someone to replace him, and the Packers certainly did not. But I thought the move was fine. I was not surprised. I thought, like I said, his legs were going, and it was time to move on. So it was not surprised at all. Jitsu, thanks so much for the super chat. Will LaFleur's ability to make in-game adjustments grow as he has more time here? I certainly hope so. And I don't think he was necessarily terrible at that aspect of the job his first year at the helm, simply because it was his first year. But you certainly do hope that he gets better at it the more experience he gets. And look, hey, every coach has a different trajectory. Every coach has weaknesses and strong points. Maybe that's never one of his strong points. Maybe it becomes a strong point. But, hey, he is very young. He has not been an NFL coach, let alone a head coach, for a very long time. So I'm more than happy to watch him grow on the job, so to speak. Austin, thank you for the super chat. What position are we more likely to pursue in free agency, inside linebacker or wide receiver, if not neither? My vote will be to go for an inside linebacker in free agency and wide receiver in the draft. I don't think it's as cut and dry as that, but I believe they'll look at the draft for both of them. If someone's out there in free agency in the second or even third wave that they think can help bolster the roster, regardless of the position, I think they'll make that move. But I don't think they go into the free agency period thinking we have to get this or we have to get that. A lot of the guys that would be on a shopping list or on a wish list will undoubtedly be gone in the first 48 hours of free agency. And I don't think the Packers are going to spend money in that window. So it's all well and good to say they got to get this or they want to get this, or they want to get that. I don't think free agency is viewed that way, at least for this season. And I don't think Gutekunst is going to operate much that way for much of his tenure. I think a lot of free agency is about filling holes in the roster where you see, a real kind of inadequate talent level. Not necessarily I got to go fill that starter role, but I want to go kind of bolster the bottom of the roster, the mid part of the roster, to give me flexibility in the draft to make sure I can get the best guys available. Now it's not it's not rock solid. It's not going to, it's not a cemented way of working, but I think for the most part, that's how he's going to operate. And, if they get to the second and third wave of free agency and neither one of those position groups offer someone who he thinks is going to come in and vastly improve the talent level at those positions, I think he's going to pass. I mean, it's all well and good to say they got to get a wide receiver, but you don't just sign one to sign one. Yes, they have to improve there, but I don't think you just make moves to make moves. That's a way to get worse. Vic Beasley from Atlanta, maybe get him cheapish. I don't know, Malcolm. I go up and down on Beasley. You saw the talent and the promise there that second year, but it really is the only time he's really kind of flashed it, shown it on a consistent basis. That and he worked a lot in a 4-3 as a 4-3 D end. He did stand up some, and he has experience dropping and moving his hips, etc. But I think they've spent a pretty decent amount of capital at outside linebacker, obviously last year in free agency and the draft with Rashawn Gary. I don't bring in another guy to continue to keep Gary on the bench. I mean, Gary played 3 snaps in the NFC Championship game. I want to get him on the field. I want another edge rusher coming in, taking snaps. That's just me. But who knows how Gutekunst sees it. Surprised they don't have a wide receiver coach yet? Not really, Chad. I wouldn't be surprised if they go all the way up until the combine and maybe even through it, where maybe there's a couple guys there that LaFleur is going to talk to. I mean, they could hire somebody tomorrow. They could go through the combine and then hire somebody afterward. But neither one really surprises me. what's important, obviously, is to get a guy in place prior to the start of off-season workouts, and that isn't until April. So they got time. Greg, thank you for the super chat. Why was Ron Wolf so good at building the teams? Was it just him, or did he have a solid group? Same for Goody. Is it him, or is it team, or a combo? It's always a combo. It's one of the more collaborative efforts outside of maybe filmmaking that I've ever witnessed. Now, it comes down to one guy's decision and the guy pulling the trigger on A, B, or C when he's got, options presented to him. But yeah, there's no doubt, Wolf had a number of great lieutenants who went on to become general managers and big-time personnel people throughout the league. Ted Thompson being one of them. He went to Seattle and built them a Super Bowl team, then came to Green Bay and built them a Super Bowl team. But that's just one example. Ron Wolf's tree is so vast that shows you, just how many people were involved. I mean, don't forget, he, obviously his son came up through the system, but, Alonzo Highsmith, John Dorsey, John Schneider, those are all Ron Wolf guys. Reggie McKenzie, the list goes on and on. So, yeah, there's no doubt it was a team effort. But at the end of the day, it's about making those big decisions, being the guy in the chair, as Gutekunst likes to say. And so far, I think Goody's done a good job of making those decisions for the most part. But we're still very early in his tenure. Jitsu, thank you for the super chat. Does Jair take that next step forward next year? I certainly hope so. I mean, I wanted to see a little bit more out of him this year on a consistency level. I think you saw the talent. There's no question about it. His aggressiveness gets him into trouble sometimes. But I think he's got an all-pro ceiling. He's just got to be more consistent. And, hey, he's still a very young player. So let's hope he makes that jump in consistency. Because I think as far as the talent goes and his technique and what have you, he's right there. He's just got to be able to do it down in and down out on a more consistent level. I don't know what this is about. It's hilarious, though. Hey, Aaron, the other day you said Michael Pierce would make a great duo alongside Kenny Clark. My question is, we paid Dean last offseason. Is he not the guy to go alongside KC? Am I missing something? No, not at all. You're not missing anything. They paid Dean Lowry, absolutely. But to me, in my eyes, he's a very steady rotational guy. Michael Pierce would be a difference maker, especially in the run game. And also, I subscribe to the Ted Thompson theory that you can never have too many big guys. Wolf and Highsmith left on rocky terms. Not necessarily. I mean, Highsmith certainly made no secret of his desire to bolt once Gutekunst got named GM. Elliott, I think, left on good terms, but his dad was pretty public about their frustrations. And hey, fair play. Elliott has every reason, and Alonzo has a bit of a case too, to be frustrated with the Packers. Elliott in particular, though. I mean, he was denied permission to interview for 3 jobs, 2 of which he probably would have got if he'd been given permission by Ted Thompson. And then when it was his turn to be up for the gig, he didn't get it. So, and I understand why Murphy made the call he made, and I understand all sides, but I certainly don't begrudge Elliott and his father for maybe being a little miffed at the Packers. That is certainly understandable. Why wouldn't Goody call Dorsey, Wolf, or Highsmith? Because he's got his crew now, and he's bringing up his own guys. And I don't think those guys would want to come back anyway. They want to go do their thing. Maybe billion% outside chance, maybe Elliott comes back. But the other 2, I don't think there's any chance. Thanks. Thank you for so many off-season chats. We missed your layoff season. Oh, well, I'm sure at some point, maybe in June, I'll take a little bit of time off. But it's always something to talk about with the Packers, even though sometimes it's not very scintillating. There's not a lot of headline generation. So we got to come up with stuff, and you guys do a great job of that. If Bulaga does take a hometown discount, what contract would you guess he gets? Oh, God, probably underneath $10 million. I can't imagine more than that. And that's why I think he'll walk, because I can't imagine him playing for that. They have so many kind of deals they got to do. Got to pay Kenny. Got to re-sign Mason. You start thinking about Aaron Jones and you get paid. Bakhtiari's coming up. I mean, they got guys they're going to have to pay. I can't imagine paying a third contract to a tackle who, yes, played all 16 games, but certainly bowed out of a few and has a long history of injury. I think you just say thanks so much, but unless you want to play on a dirt cheap contract, maybe a 1-year deal, thanks, but thanks for all the fish. And then Bulaga probably gets paid big time someplace else. Dustin, I feel you, man. Who is the Bears starting quarterback come week 1? I honestly think it'll be Trubisky. And, I know they've given him the dreaded vote of confidence, which usually means they're gone. But, yeah, I think they'll stick with him one final year. That's just me, though. Worst second-round pick, Josh Jones or Jason Spriggs? Probably Josh Jones. You didn't get near enough out of him. At least Spriggs gave you some quality minutes, even though the third downs were rough. But he still gave you some quality downs. Josh Jones, not so much. If only Jackson could figure out the outside, we could have Slide Alexander inside to the absolute best nickel cornerback in the league. That would be awesome. King, Jackson, Alexander. Malcolm, ifs and wishes, Jackson has shown nothing that I've seen to suggest that he could handle that. If for no other reason, he can't stop grabbing guys downfield. And I think the Packers coaches have seen the same thing. It's why he can't get on the field. With that said, I did think he did an okay job the few kind of times he was thrown in there because of injuries to guys ahead of him. I thought he held up pretty well. Not great, but pretty well. And that's my one hope. Maybe he comes back this spring into the summer and all of a sudden the light goes on and he finally gets it. But the history of the league would tell you to bet against that. 5 best quarterbacks in Green Bay history: Favre, Rodgers, Starr, Cutler, and Trubisky. Can King and Alexander be one of the best cornerback duos in the league? I think so, if they both play up to their potential. Trick is making sure that happens each and every week. But, yeah, I don't think there's any question they can. Have I watched any video of Mike Pittman Jr.? Just a little bit. And, yes, you're right. He looks like a beast. No doubt about it. How important is a chip on the shoulder? Rodgers still has one. Trubisky doesn't. I think a lot gets made by the media when it comes to chips on the shoulder, so to speak. But there's no doubt that the greats in any sport kind of use it as fuel, right? The idea that they're slighted, that they don't get the respect they deserve. Aaron Rodgers, early on in his career, I wrote a post at Cheesehead TV that he actually talked to me about and said that he appreciated, because I compared him to Michael Jordan. Because back then it was prior to him winning the Super Bowl, it was very apparent that anybody who had ever slighted him or doubted him or tried to hold him back, etc., was on the list, and he had them up in his head, and he was thinking about them all the time. It was very obvious. And the great ones, the really transcendent players, seem to all share that trait across the sports. So it certainly can be used as motivational fuel, and you have seen great ones do that. But I do believe it is overplayed quite a bit by the media. It's an easy storyline, right? I mean, I understand why people reach for that, but I think it comes down to each individual player too. I think some guys it does, and it is very effective. But some guys, I think, play on it, and that doesn't improve their play in any way, shape, or form. It's just something to get them pumped up, which is fine. What else we got here? No one is trading for Jackson. Herbert, I tend to agree, but you never know. Someone traded for Ty Montgomery when they knew he was going to get cut. You never know. All players have value. It's just a question of who you're talking to. What's my favorite Charles Woodson play? Woo! Man, the list is long, right? One of my favorites, I can't pick a favorite play, but one of my favorites of all time is down in the red zone in Lambeau against the Ravens. I can't remember who the back is, but the Ravens tried to run outside to the left, and Woodson comes knifing through and literally just dives through midair like Superman and takes down the back for a loss on the play. And it is somebody on the internet at some point, I can't find it now. I've looked for it several times, but someone did a slow-mo version and set it to the Superman theme from Richard Donner's Superman in the 1970s. And it's a brilliant little video, but it's one of my all-time favorite Charles Woodson plays. And it wasn't in the Super Bowl, wasn't in a grand stage. It wasn't, it was just, I think it was a primetime game, but it's just this one play that just sticks in my mind because it was so unorthodox and it was so unlike anybody you would ever see. But it was the kind of play that Woodson made all the time. Week in and week out. He just made a play that you would never see anyone else make, but he made it routine. And that's what made him so special. And that's why he's going to the Packers Hall of Fame. That's why he'll be a first ballot in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Just a different dude. Someone traded for Hundley. Exactly. Einhorn is a man. Love that handle. Thanks for the super chat. Packers fans have wide receiver fever and it's exhausting. Dime a dozen. Well, I don't know if we can say it's dime a dozen, but I do think people overvalue the idea of needing premier talents there. Anybody who's watched this channel or seen the website or seen my Twitter feed knows that I felt the Packers had all the talent they needed to win a Super Bowl with the guys they had on hand. And they came close. Didn't quite close the deal, no doubt about it. But I think, when Gutekunst talked about in his season-ending press conference that, they explored the possibilities of adding someone. And we know they tried to trade for Robbie Anderson, but ultimately they decided that the value wasn't there. I think that's smart. I'd much rather have a second-round pick than Mohamed Sanu, wouldn't you? That's just me. Oh, you're hilarious, dude who wants attention. You're so cute. Good luck with that, though. Thoughts on just, you can keep doing that, man. I don't care. You're cute, though. 2020, I'm voting BJ Raji. I like it. Raji's platform would be amazing. That's not, if somebody's saying Wildy in the chat, that's not Jason Wildy. That's some douchebag in Florida who can't handle that I don't, worship Aaron Rodgers like a golden god. So now he messages me on Instagram, makes fun of my daughter, puts up fake super chats because he has no life and he's upset. And you know what? Hey, man, whatever you got to do, it's cool. This is how you live your life. These are the pathetic limits of your life, man. Nags, when is your beard coming back? Those cold New York nights got to have some protection. Garrett, yeah, I'll let it grow, and then I'll get lazy, and then it'll really grow, and then I'll shave it. And, there's no rhyme or reason. It'll be back. Ooh, good question. Randall Cobb comes back to the Pack. Saw some scuttlebutt about that online today. I doubt it. I think they moved on. They wanted a clean break. Never say never. Ted Thompson brought a lot of guys back who he let go or let walk, and then they found their way back to Green Bay. So I would never say never. But I'd be very surprised if they went that route. I think Randall could help them, no doubt about it. But I think they want to get younger, more explosive at the position. And I think they'll go to the draft. I don't see paying Randall Cobb significant money to come back and then going and drafting guys and then having to share time with Randall Cobb. They're going to get younger. They're going to get more explosive from a draft class that is, by all accounts, the deepest it's been at the position in over a decade. That's just my hunch. Let that shit grow until Green Bay wins the Super Bowl. I don't know about all that. Let me see here. What else we got? Your favorite win of the year? Mine is week 1. Oh, it's got to be. Mine's got to be the Monday Night Football game in Minnesota. What was that? Christmas week? That was just outstanding. That whole game was amazing. Turning it over 3 times in the first half, only being down 1 going into halftime, and then coming and winning it in the second half. Nothing like it. Winning in Minnesota, shutting up that damn horn. Number 1. I think that's a signature win for LaFleur so far in Green Bay. But week 1 was amazing. No doubt about it. Love shutting Bears fans up. No question. If you bring back Cobb, Rodgers will have 2 receivers he can only throw to. Now, be nice. The young boy in Florida will get all upset that you're talking bad about Rodgers. Rodgers is perfect, don't you know? Hack the horn. There you go, Craig. You remember. # hack the horn. I mean, that was a one-time offer, just to be clear. Anybody who's thinking about hacking the horn next year, no. It had to happen that Monday night. That was the one offer you had from Cheesehead TV. For those of you who missed it, we offered $10,000 to any hacker who can make the horn in Minnesota play Go Pack Go instead of that stupid horn noise. But no one rose to the occasion. However, there were so many Packers fans there that you could hear Go Pack Go on the broadcast. So well done to everyone who was there that night. Is Kadar Holman going to jump Sully and Redmond? I was not impressed by Redmond. I think Josh Jackson would have been more effective in his place. Well, I don't know. I think Redmond certainly got exposed a couple times when coordinators went after him specifically, or maybe quarterbacks did. But I thought he played better down the stretch. Thought he improved as the year went on, and that's what you want to see from young guys, right? But Holman is really interesting, and I think I really liked what I saw from him last summer. I'm with you. I thought, especially in man coverage, I thought he played really well in camp and looked pretty good in preseason. Couldn't get on the field this year. I'm hoping they see a big jump from him this offseason. And I wouldn't be surprised if he jumped up the depth chart at all. And that's one of the few kind of areas of the cornerback spot where I'm like, maybe, they are counting on that and or know something about this kid or like what they see to the point where they don't bring back Tremont and or they don't draft somebody. That's a possibility, Only people who know what they have in the building are the people in the building. So my hope is that's the case because I really liked what he brought to the table this past summer. All right, everybody, I'm going to have to jump. Thank you so much for all the questions. I'm sorry if I couldn't get to yours. Hey, hit like, hit subscribe. And if you're so inclined to support what we do here at Cheesehead TV, please consider giving us $5 a month on our Patreon, patreon.com/CheeseheadTV. You get exclusive access to my podcast, and you'll get exclusive early access to the Cheesehead TV Draft Guide, which comes with your Patreon membership. So go do that. Support Cheesehead TV. Hit like, hit subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family. We're devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Good night, everybody.